just pray, Lord, I pray for our youth, God, tonight, Lord, as they're here. I pray for the ones going on the trip this weekend, God, that it will take them deeper. It will take them further than they've ever been, to experience you in ways they never thought they could, and to know you in ways that leave them hungry for more. It's always that taste, God, that sense of your spirit that leaves us wanting more, leaves us wanting that moment with you again. And I pray that they could experience that. Some of them for the first time, they could sense you in such a way, God, that they feel your presence like they never have before, God. And I pray that we could get hungry in here, God. And we could be so hungry for you, God, that we come with an expectation, God, for you to arrive each time that we gather together, God. We become better as a whole because we become better as individuals, God. So help us to be better individuals, God. And we praise you, and we lift you up, and we glorify you, God. In your name I pray. Amen. Teens and kids, you can be dismissed. Adults, you can be seated.
In your Wednesday nights.
Yeah, in your Wednesday night chair only. If you have your Bibles, you can turn to Matthew chapter 25. That's where we're going to be tonight for the most of the time. Matthew chapter 25. All right. Worked a little easier than I thought it would. So tonight what we're talking about seed money. And the thought is, how much money would you give, or how much time would you give, or what would you give to see someone come to the Lord? And I think everybody, whether they say it or not, there's a limit. There's a thing in our minds, like, I'll go this far, but I don't know. I'll reach this person, but I don't know. And we don't even know it sometimes till we get in that situation. And there's an opportunity in front of us, and we miss it simply because we're not prepared. Somebody comes in our life, somebody's so outspoken against the Lord that we don't even share it. There's a situation where we can give, but we don't give. And I think we have to know what we're going to do kind of ahead of the time. When we give our money, our time, ourselves, it's seed money. It's your investment to hopefully have a chance to influence somebody's life. Sometimes it can be little. I help somebody with something. I do something for somebody. I give somebody some money. I give somebody something else. I give my time. It's a seed that I'm planting. What's the Bible talks about? It talks about we're planting seeds, right? One plants and one harvests. And we don't know where we're at in that line. We don't know where we're at in that situation. So what we do is we scatter all the time. Everywhere we go, we ought to be scattered, right? We ought to be just planting. And you know what's so funny to me is every now and then, I'll walk into a situation and I think, there's no way. We'll never win this situation. And I harvest immediately. Somebody comes to the Lord immediately. And I'm left there kind of like with my mouth open like, you know, I've planted so much, I didn't expect this so soon. And it's been growing the whole time because somebody was, they were planting. Somebody was working. And I get to come through when the fields are white with harvest, and I get to take out what they've already done work for. And it's awesome. And we don't have any idea where those people are, where they're at when we come to them. We come up to them and we think, oh, they're so far away. And sometimes they're just waiting on the invitation. So what's my job? My job is to provide the seed money. Not only is it giving it away, but you're giving it as well. The question remains this, though. When something is given to you, will it have a return? And that's why I want to look at the parable of the sowers in a minute, because he gave to what they could do. In other words, he gave to what they could be trusted with. To one he gave this many, he gave a lot. And one he gave this many, he gave a little bit. And then one he gave even fewer more. And it's because you look at the one who gave fewer more to, and you kind of wonder, was he not very good with it? You know, if I've got $100 to give, and I'm going to give 80 to one, I'm going to give 20 to, or I'm going to give 80 to one, and I'm going to give 10 to another, and then I might have 10 to spread around. I'm going to be careful who I give that 10 to, because based off of your reputation, I may not give it to you. Not everybody can handle that thing. I remember one time I was somewhere, and there was somebody that come up to me and they said, "Here, carry this to the church." And it was a little bit of money, it was a little bit of cash. I think it was about $20. And they said, "Here, give this to your church." And I said, "Okay." And I literally turned around, and somebody over here was complaining, and they was like, I'm just out of money. I don't have any money. I don't have anything. And I could have taken that money, and I could have went, and I could have put it in the church. Okay? I could have. But I didn't feel like that was why it was provided. So I took it wasn't a lot of money. It was just a little bit. But I took it and I gave it to that person. But I didn't have it before they gave it to me. So I took the seed that this person gave me and I planted it here. And you know what happened? Is I reaped off of that gift. In time, it provided influence. And in time, it provided salvation where there wasn't any. And you don't know. I mean, you can totally be thinking, man, I don't have a chance in the world. What's $20 going to do for this person over here? You know what? It might just give them the kingdom of heaven. When they see how generous you are, and they have nothing, and you give them something, all of a sudden, things are different. I remember your story, Cadre, where you were doing the plumbing job, and I always think about this. And it wasn't a cheap job that Cadre was doing. He was doing this job, and there was a guy there that didn't know the Lord. And, he had cancer. He was dying. And Cadre was doing this job for him. And the Lord said, well, you need to do this job for free. He said, how much is a salvation worth to you? And he told me, he said, I began to struggle. It's not a cheap job. It wasn't a cheap job, was it? It was several $100s from what I remember. And he says, you know, he continues to work. And he said, if I just lend something, he says, hey, you don't owe me anything, but you just give me a few minutes of your time. And he led the people to Jesus. And the guy passed away with cancer shortly after, and he went to heaven. Why? Because of seed money. So I'm saying it's not worth going to hell and tripping over your wallet. It's just not. I mean, I'm holding it so tight. Do you not think that you're holding it so tight that God he might not actually put any more in it? I got $100. What if I'm holding it so tight in my pocket and I'm trying to hold on to it and God wants to give me $1,000? And what if I've got $100 right now and I'm holding on to it now and he wants me to give $800 to somebody else? And so I give $800. Well, now I've got twice as much as I had in the beginning. Who knows? Who knows why the Lord does the things that he does? I remember this when I was about 12 years old. I remember I was real nosy and I was going to my grandmother's closet and I seen a guitar neck sticking out of a pillowcase. For all you guitar guys, you go, that's pretty good. It was an electric guitar too. How about that? I'd never seen one of them before, at least not at my grandmother's house, and I'd been coming there for 11 or 12 years at this point. And I said, hey, whose is that? Whose is that? What is that? I began to ask the questions. And he come to find out it was her brother's. And he had won it, probably like a poker game. And he had committed suicide because of the way he lived. It kind of got bad. He committed suicide. But she said this. She said, if you learn how to play it, you can have it. For a 12-year-old, that was king. I was like, bet. It's going to happen. So you say, nah, I'm still playing. And I'm still doing it. You know what? She invested something in me. She invested seed money. She gave something to me. It changed everything. I started my own band at 15 years old, and I've done worship music ever since then, and done things for I played at JCA while I was there, and it was seed money. But you know what? You don't give seed money unless you expect a return. You give something with an expectation. There's an expectation. You're like, I don't know what it's going to do, but maybe if I give this, it'll open up that door that I didn't know was going to open. And so, and Cadre had no idea that the guy was going to get saved, but you know what? He knew he was going to plant the seed.
The best part of the story is when his son called me.
Yeah, tell that real quick while I'm shutting this door.
His son called me after he had died about 2 weeks later. And his son lived in San Antonio, Texas. And he said, I didn't know what, how real salvation was. Sometimes you don't know. And his son called me and says, I just want to thank you. So my dad told me what you did. He said it really changed his life before he died.
Amen.
We don't know.
And I didn't know his son. I never met his son before. He called me, got my number, called me.
That's right. See, we have these things all the time, and I think, and I'm convinced, they're not meant to stay in our hands as much as they are meant to pass through. Every time you're blessed doesn't mean that you're meant to stick it in your pocket. Sometimes it may mean that you're supposed to stick it in somebody else's pocket. If we want to impact people, sometimes it requires an investment. We may or may not see a return on what is given, but it's not up to us. Seeds grow what? Below the surface before anything can be seen. I'm planting that seed. Rick, you know, when he was out preaching and he's out doing this thing, he's planting that seed. He's planting those seeds. Eventually, those things are going to come to harvest. Eventually, those things are going to bear fruit. Eventually, those things are going to produce more seeds that are going to reach more people and do more things. What is my job? My job is to plant the seed. If I get to harvest, great. If I don't, great. Look, if you have your Bibles, Matthew 25, starting with verse 14. And it says, again, it'd be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave what? He gave 5 bags of gold. To another 2 bags. And to another 1 bag. What? Each according to his ability. That verse ought to ring something to you. If the master come in here, let's say it's Father God, he comes in here and he starts dishing out money. If you had to guess, what is your ability right now? Can he trust you with a lot or can he trust you with only a little? There was a guy there that day and he thought, I can trust him with 5, so I'll give him 5. That guy evidently had pulled his weight, he had done his share. And you know what? When the Lord comes back one day, I want my ability to be pretty high. I don't want to be the 1 guy. I want to be the 10 guy. Then he went on his journey. And the man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gave 5 bags more. I like this guy because he went what? At once. He was motivated. There's something to this here. There's something to what's going on. So also the one with 2 bags who gained 2 more. So immediately they reap 100% for their job. They've got the 5 bags. He says, you know what? I'm going to take these. I'm going to put them to work. I'm going to get 5 more. And then there's the other guy who says, you know what? He gave me 2. I'm going to reinvest them. I'm going to get 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off. He dug a hole in the ground and he hid his master's money. And after a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with him. Okay, we look at this as the returning of the Lord. Eventually, he's going to come back. And what are you going to have? You're going to dig your hole? You're going to hide what's been given to you? Oh, I know that this is what he says. He says, but the man who had received 1 bag went off. He dug the hole in the ground, and his master went. And after a long time, the master came back. And the man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. And he said, Master, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I've gained 5 more. Boy, that's what I'm going to tell the master when he comes back. I took your money and I put it to work. I took my life and I put it to work. And his master replied, what? He said, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things, and I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your master's happiness. Boy, that's what we all want to be told, isn't it? And the man with 2 bags of gold also came, and he said, Master, you entrusted me with these 2 bags of gold. See, I've gained 2 more. And his master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things, and I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. And then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came and he said, Master, I knew that you're a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. And his master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well, then you should have put money on a deposit with all the bankers, so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have, will be taken from them. And throw the worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. We can look at this as just a story about some guys, a master and his gold. Or we can look at this about the Lord. He's going to come back. It's going to be real, and he's going to be asking you what you do with it. What I gave you, what you do with it. See, what I've got here is the money the master gave with an expectation that there would be a return when he came back. And you know what? He didn't just invest this money. He invested in them. He invested in them based off what they were trustworthy with. Look here. To the one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. And then he went on the journey. I think that the Lord still does that. Yes. He still does that. Some people, I figured out, are funnels and some people are bowls. Some people are funnels and some people are bowls. And what I mean by that is when money or anything for that matter is given to them, they collect it like bowls and they hold it. Or they distribute it like funnels. What's poured in the top goes out the bottom. It goes through them. It goes through them. It goes through them. It goes through them. What they were given, they give to somebody else. They bless somebody else. They keep on going. And that, I think that's a living kind of process. If you hold something, if you hold water in a container and it does not have any way to flow through, what happens? It becomes stagnant. Things become, bacteria begins to form, and then there begins to be moss. But the things that move, they don't have that. And I think when the Lord pours something in the top, I think He wants it to go somewhere. He wants me to be wise with it. Don't you think that the one who poured it in the top to begin with has more to pour in the top if I need it? I've never seen the rich go pour from giving. I've never seen it. And you may be a one-talent person, but what you can do with that talent to show the Lord the next time, you're capable of managing much more. Say, oh, I don't have that much talent, Lord. I can't really do a lot. I don't do a lot of things like these people who can preach and sing and dance and do all these things. They have all these talents. I don't have those talents. I just simply do my thing. And He says, why don't you do it well? Why don't you take the one thing that I give you? Why don't you take the one talent and why don't you use it instead of sitting waiting for green lights? Why don't you just why don't you shift your focus and expect them all to be green? And everything, as far as you can run with that one talent, why don't you take it and run with it? Instead of going, well, I don't have this talent and I don't have that talent. Oh, you've got 5. I've only got 2. I've only got 1. Notice they don't start comparing one another. They don't say, the one with 2 doesn't look at the one with 5 and say, oh, why don't I have 5? I'm just going to go bury mine in the ground because I don't have 5. The master won't be mad when I just bury my 2. No, he goes out and puts the 2 that he has to work. And it's the same way for you. You say, man, I can do what I do, but I can't do what you do. There's very little I can do, to be honest. This is it. So I try to do it well. And you may be that person that has one talent, but how are you going to put it to work? If you receive more, I think more is expected of you. Okay, you're a 5-talent person. You know what? The 5-talent person didn't make excuses because he's a 5-talent person. You know what he did? He went out to work. I think if you're a 5-talent person, you go out to work and more is expected to you. There's a level of accountability that comes with having more and knowing more. If you look here, this is Luke 12:48. It says this, but the one who does not know and does things deserving punishment will be beaten with few blows. For everyone who has been given what? Much. Much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. The one who's been given a lot, I expect a little more from him. If I was paying you $100,000 and I was paying you $20,000, who do you think I'm going to expect more out of? Hey, I pay you a lot of money, man. I expect a little more out of you. I don't mean you get to sit around and do nothing either.
No, figure about that.
It's not so much what you have, but how you manage what you have. I've seen people with very little who are very great at managing it. Who could make you feel welcome. Man, my grandmother could bring out the spread of food that you ain't never seen out of a little old kitchen that wasn't much wider than this, and she would bring tons of food out, and she'd scatter it all over the table, and each thing you ate would be good. She could have had a big kitchen and not know how to cook a lick, but she could bring all these things out of this little kitchen in this little wooden house next to my parents, and she could and I just thought it was like a king, man. You just roll it out. And I remember my dad said at the front of the table, and she just waited on him. She just treated him all good. It's like he was a king, man. She had a gift of making you feel like you were valuable, like you were worth a lot. See, she took what she had and she made it work. What are you doing with what you got? You got seed money? Scatter some seed. Say, I don't have a lot of money. We got some time. Maybe you can give some time. Maybe you can give some of your knowledge. See, I told this story before, but it's like the man who comes to the church. It's what you do with it that matters, and your motivations. It's this man, he comes to this church and he's sitting on the front row and then he gets up and he begins to talk and he begins to share how there was a time when he only had $20 to his name. He only had $20. And he said, I just felt like the Lord told me to give that money and I put it in the offering plate. It was all I had, $20. And now I'm a millionaire. All the people was like, wow. And so a guy spoke up on the front row. He said, yeah, but would you do it now? Would you do it now? You have the same. I mean, if you're given 100%, 100% of 20 is the same as 100% of me. That's 100%, right? So what is your motivation? You know, sure, it's easy when the stakes aren't as high for you as they are when you're given the more money. It's all in what you do with what you have. Think about what returned in the parable compared to what was given. In this story, except one, it returned 100%. They did not receive the same amount, but they invested it in such a way that they yielded the same return. Now look here. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. And the man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5 that he had. And he said, Master, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I've gained 5 more. He took what he had, what he had been given, he put it to work, and he produced 100%. He got back exactly what he put in. His master replied, what? Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. What I love about it, again, the master's not only testing the waters, he's testing him. What are you going to do with what I give you? What are you going to do with what I give you? You know what? If he takes the $20,000 I give him and he invests it, gets 20 more, and he takes the $100,000 and invests it and gets 100 more, you know what? I'm going to trust him a little more the next time I give him some money. Maybe the next time I'll give him 30 or 40. What did they do? They took from the lazy person and they gave it to the one that was the most successful. It's why did they do that? It wasn't just a show of hey, I'm going to take the money away from you. It was where can I put the money that it's the safest? I'll put it in the hands of the one I gave the most to. And so it happens like that. He says the money the master gave with the expectation of return, that when he got back, that what he invested, there would be more. And look, if we go forward, his master replied, well done. It talks about the 2. Let's just go forward with that. And he talks about the 2. He gave it to the 2. And when he come back, there was 2 more. What he invested, he got back out. I believe we're constantly, that we're given seeds. I believe that we're invested in to see if we will invest in others. And I believe many times it could be the story like Cadre told us where it was life and death. I believe so. I believe there's things that come across our plates, our laps, and you know what? We have a chance to invest in those things. We have a chance to pour into those people. We have a chance to love on those people, and we can either choose to. And you know what? His decision, it produced life. You cannot argue with that. I'm not just blowing up Cadre tonight, but his decision, it gave that guy life. It gave that guy a life that was not cut off any longer by his cancer. Once his cancer ended, and he left this earth, he had a life that was to gain very valuable. And you know what? I bet to him it was more than 5 talents that Cadre gave him. And Cadre just took what? It's real easy to give away somebody else's money. I'll just tell you that. Somebody gives me money, it's easy for me to pass it to somebody else. Cadre just took what he was given, and he gave it away. And I would say this. There's something about money that when I find it, and it's happened to me before. I found money in Target 2 times. All right. And one time I was just walking across the parking lot and wind blew and the 20 went up under my foot and I stepped on it. Okay, so I was like, well, okay, that's pretty neat. And then one time I was in the baby aisle. I don't know if it was your money, Hillary, I'm sorry. And I turned the aisle. I turned the aisle and I stepped on a $100 bill. Sorry. And you have another side of the story you want to tell. And I remember I stepped on this $100 bill and I looked around and I looked down the aisle. There wasn't anybody. I looked down this aisle and there wasn't anybody and I picked it up. And I thought, the first thing I thought was, this ain't my money. It ain't my money. What am I supposed to do with this money? I mean, it was right around Christmas time and I'll be honest, it wasn't really financially hurt. It wasn't like I needed the money. I didn't need the money. And I remember picking it up and I remember thinking, I need to do something with this money. And we had a chance to invest a seed, and I sent it to somebody else, and it provided for them during a difficult time. And that person actually went home and went to jail, but for a couple of years. But it was a good seed, and it's going to bring me a harvest eventually. I will say, when he got out of prison, I was one of the first ones in contact. He wanted to let me know that he was out of jail. But I remember we sent it to him, and they gave Christmas to their family. But it's that whole thing of, I've got the radar up. You got to have the radar up. God, what do you say? I didn't just turn down an aisle in Target and step on a $100 bill for nothing. Anybody could have done that. Anybody could have picked it up and put it in their pocket and went on about their day and been really happy about it. But there's a reason that I found. I don't know whose money it was. For whatever reason they lost it. But God led me to it, and I found it. And so it came across my path. And I have the radar up, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back by no means, because I've made as many mistakes as I've made successes. But what I'm saying is that when you have your radar up and you say, God, what do you want to do with this seed money? It might be that I need to invest it in somebody, and he's going to yield the return. Because when you scatter seeds, you don't know it's going to come up. Isaac, one time he planted seeds, and I believe it's in Genesis. And it talks about how he reaped 100 times more than what he planted. How? Because God works below the surface. He works below what I can see, and does with things that I don't know. And he could have took that $100 bill, and he's created something with that's worth more than a $100 bill. Number one, I've got influence with this guy that doesn't know the Lord right now. And one thing the parable shows and life shows is it doesn't take effort to hide your talents. It didn't take that guy any effort. While the others worked, he was lazy and did other things. Why? He didn't have to work the talent. He didn't have to do anything with it. He just buried it, covered it up, went on his way. When the master comes back, I'll go back and get it. The others constantly had their master on their mind as they worked for what? Not their profit, but his profit. And the one servant, he buried what was given to him, and he forgot about his master until his master returned. The man received 1 talent because the master trusted him with only 1 talent. And the master, what I love about it, even though this guy probably wasn't very trustworthy, he gave him another chance. Here's 1 talent. What are you going to do with it? And he probably expected him to be lazy and to bury it in the ground. But he hoped he'd put it to work and he'd come back and they'd do too. But he still gave him a chance to succeed. And you know what? Us 1 talent people, we have a chance to succeed. What are you going to sharpen it up and do with it? One person sees a tree, another person sees a table and chairs. One person sees a tree and another person sees cabinets and a home. Another person sees a home. What are you going to make out of these things that have been given to you? One person, one day, they looked at a tree and they said, you know what? We can do stuff with this. Noah saw a boat and he built it and it saved him and his family. There's a lot of similarities here. I believe, number one, I believe Jesus is enough for anyone. But how many of us actually share him? We actually take that seed that we've been given. We claim to have a healer, claim to have the answer, we claim to have the way, but we hide our seed and we don't tell anyone about it. And the saying, and I've used this before, it's like this. It goes, I have to look at it. He who has something to sell and goes and whispers in a well is not as likely to get the dollar as he who climbs a hill and hollers. You know what? These things, they used to have it. The Baptist church did a lot. Evangelism explosion. They went on knocking doors and houses. And they had great success with people giving their life. Why? Because they went. There was maybe other churches that said, hey, we shouldn't go knock on doors to houses. But you know what? There was also people who went knocking on doors of houses who actually saw these things come to life and come to fruition. And maybe you are here tonight because someone came and knocked on your door and someone come and spent some time with you. When we have something, when we've been given something, it's not ours to go and squander it. It's ours to go and share. If you really believe what you have is the greatest gift of all time and it's your salvation, wouldn't you want to share that with somebody? Wouldn't you want to give that to as many people as you could? Wouldn't you want to love them enough to tell them the truth? I wouldn't let Hosanna go around and play around the stove just because I didn't want to tell her that she could get hurt. Oh, she'll figure it out. No. I hope she doesn't. And it's the same way for people when they're destined. Their destination is hell, and we don't even want to tell them because we're afraid that they might say no. But what if they say yes? You're given something and should give something in return. I believe this. I believe that you're blessed to be a blessing. I believe that you're given seed money, and you should also invest seed money. And I don't think it's ever yours to keep. I don't think it was ever ours to keep. It's not my message for you to give money to this church. This is not one of those kind of messages. I don't count the offering, nor I'll go in the elders meeting and I'll see what the total is. But other than that, I have no idea what you give. This is my message, to do whatever it takes to reach the lost. And if it takes investing in the lost by offering them money, then we need to do it. And we need to get after it. I think that we need to get desperate. We need to get desperate to reach the outsider. You know what? If it changes your wallet or your schedule. Either one of those. For some of y'all, that ranks pretty high. They'll schedule. I have a pretty tight schedule myself. But you know what? Every now and then needs to get wrecked for other people. Also, what I know is in order to catch these things, that you're going to have to start putting up your radar. You're going to have to start wondering why people are coming into your path. They're coming into your path. The other night, I'll be honest, I don't know why yet, but my boss called me from my old job. I don't talk to him on almost no time. He's in California, and he texts me at like 10:30 at night to ask me about a project. But you almost got to wonder, is there something more to this? Has it opened up another door? Because I always tell him, and I have for some time, I said, don't forget about your family. That's important. And there's a reason that he keeps reaching out to me, and he hasn't cut that tie. And I don't know what it is yet. I don't think it's my work, honestly. There's a reason that he doesn't cut that tie, and I wonder what it is. He thinks I'm a good person. He likes what I have to say. He was raised Catholic, I believe. But you know what? I think that God has left the door open there for me. And he didn't have any influence over me. He didn't write my checks or anything. So you know what? I can say whatever I wanted to him. But I would ask you this, and we're getting close to being done. What's been given to you? What's been given to you? Number one, have you squandered it? To just washed away? If people looked in your life, could they count it? And then, have you invested it poorly? Have you put it into things that really aren't going to yield you any return? Sometimes people drink away their money. Sometimes people smoke away their money. Sometimes people do drugs and they do away their money. Sometimes you just waste your money on things that aren't wise investments. And then I would ask you this, have you invested it wisely? If you look back across your life, you say, you know what, I did pretty good with that. I'm not saying every choice you ever made was bad. I'm just saying you need to ask yourself what you did with it. Seed money is this. It's a present investment on a future return. Everybody that I run into, whether I give time, money, whatever, my energy, I'm investing in them, hoping that one day I'll have a return and they'll seek the same God that I do. That's what we want. And then I'll ask you this, what has the Master invested in you? Everybody gets a talent. He proved that all the way down. Some got 5, some got 2, some got 1. And he says, and then the next thing is, what does he want you to invest into others? What does he really want you to invest into others? I'm not saying you need to go cash your whole check and just give it away. And you might. I don't know. But what I'm saying is you need to be actively seeking what he wants you to do in every situation. Because I've realized this, and this is my last thing. It's people who do not care how much we know until they know how much we care. And if somebody is hungry, it's hard to tell them about Jesus. I love to tell them, he's great, he's wonderful, he's awesome. And all they're thinking about the whole time is, man, I'm hungry. Man, I'm cold. Man, I got some things I don't understand. And they've got all these things built against them. And you know what? They may just want you to talk to them out like they're a human being. Sometimes we can get so high on our high horse that we're higher than everybody else. And Jesus, what did he do? In the last moments of his life, when everybody should be serving him, he got down and washed people's feet. He was putting seed money out there. You know what? Peter may have denied him at the cross, but Peter never denied him again. And Peter actually died for him. And the same Jesus, he died for the same Jesus that he remembered getting down and washing his feet. Here is the King of the world, and he chooses a cross over a crown. Crown of thorns, maybe. And you know better than that. And you've been invested the same way. And so I would say, take your seed money, whatever it is, whatever the Lord's blessed you with. Man, I hope you get 10 times what you have now. But I hope you're a funnel and not a bowl. Because what I've noticed is people who are funnels, he keeps pouring in. What happened to the guy who had 5 talents? He's got 5 more. What happened to the one that didn't do anything with his talent? His talent got taken away from him, and it got given to the guy with 10 talents now. Now he has 11 talents. He has one more than he actually reproduced from getting the gift from the master. You know why? Because you pour into funnels. And it never overflows. It always goes out. So that's what I want us to be. I want us to be the kind of church that takes seed money and goes out and lives for the Lord and invests in this community this year. I want us to invest in as many people as we can. I want us to love people. I don't believe in taking money and just throwing it into people. Some people aren't ready for $100. They're not ready for $200. They need smaller things. They need groceries more than they need money. I understand that. I think we'll be wise with that. I don't think every situation is healed by money. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying in some situations you don't know where that money's going to go, and it's okay. Well, they're just going to drink that money away? And God said, give them money. They're just going to smoke that money away? Give them money. We give them money anyway, because you know what? It may be a test for you more than it's a test for them. All right? Let's pray. God, we love you and we thank you for this night. We thank you for this investment, Lord, that you have in us, God. And Lord, we want to manage it well. Help us to be people who take the money that you give us, who take the time that you've given us, who take our life that you've given us, Lord. It's such a blessing to have good health and good days. And we invest it in the lives of others, God. And I thank you for that, and I praise you for that. And I pray that you would be in this church, and you'd be real, and you'd be alive, and we'd be a church, Lord, that invests the money that you put into us, the time that you put into us, the energy that you spend into us, and the knowledge that you put into us well. Lord, we thank you, we praise you, and we lift you up. In Jesus' name, amen.